Here's some interesting stats on effective communication. So if you were to go on a communication skills program, this is one of the first things that you'll see. Before I said you are never not communicating, but only 7% of your communication comes through your words. Okay? There were days there when my coaches would turn up at the rowing shed, and I'm sure we've all done it. And you as an athlete, no, okay, I won't talk to them today. All right, we'll just get on the water. Let's minimise any disruptions. Let's just hit the water. And you don't have that normal briefing session. Okay, you can read the body language, and everyone has an innate ability to do this. 55% of what we communicate comes through, how we look. You guys are communicating to me right now. Okay. 38% is your tone of voice. So when you get frustrated or you get maybe a little bit impatient, okay, when you've said the same thing to an athlete time and time again, how do you modify? How do you keep control of your tone of voice so the athlete doesn't think that, oh man, I'm doing a really bad job, and subsequently loses confidence, loses a bit of self-esteem, and their performance spirals down because of that, right? Okay. It's always a challenge. I vividly remember one day training before the 2004 Olympics. We are 3 weeks out, a beautiful day like this on a lake in Varese in Italy. And Tim, I used to listen to everything that he said, not just to me, but to the other athletes as well. And he'd been talking to one of the guys in the crew about changing the way that his top half of his body moved away from his legs to coordinate the stroke more efficiently. And Tim's been chatting to this guy for maybe 3 months. And he's always trying to say it in a slightly different way because he knows that obviously the message that I'm trying to give is not being received the way it's intended. And here we are 3 weeks out from the Olympics. And amazing things can happen just before a major event. Your advice becomes so much more critical. Your athletes have this different mentality where I must do it. Everything becomes a must. We used to talk about that. Anyway, Tim said, look, I want you to feel as if your belly button is moving away from your thighs a millisecond quicker. And to me, that made very little sense, right? The other things that Tim was suggesting had already, yep, that rings true, yep, understand that. But this one didn't make sense to me at all. But suddenly, the athlete starts doing it exactly right. That's it, you're doing it exactly right. Well, Tim, why didn't you say so 3 months ago? It's just keep trying, okay? The meaning of communication is the response that you get. All right. So how do you become a better communicator? Look, here are 10 really valuable ways you can do it. The first one there is to know your outcome. Literally, when you're coaching your athletes, what is your outcome? What do you want from that communication that you're having with them? What do you think? What are you looking for? Okay. You're looking for some understanding, okay? You want to get your message across. You want to get them to technically change, but how do you want them to feel, about the way that you're communicating with them? Okay, so if you know your outcome, you say, okay, when I interact with my athletes, I want them to feel better about themselves. I want to interact with them in a way that increases and improves their self-esteem, because that improves their self-confidence. And certainly from my experience, confident athletes do well. Okay. Understand your own preferences and communication patterns. So you know how some people talk really slowly, okay, or slower, and some people talk softly, and some people don't talk much at all, and some people, when they talk a lot and they talk really, really quickly. And some people give a stack of information. Other people, when you ask them about their weekend, they just say good. Everyone is different. If you understand your preferences, okay, you're in a better position to be able to adapt. Because how do you adapt? How do you change something when you don't actually currently know what it is that you do? Okay, understand your athlete's preferences and communication patterns, the same thing. Adapt to the other's needs. So deliver the message in the way they want to receive it, not the way you want to actually give it. Okay, make sure the other person understands. The only way we do that is we look for our non-verbal cues. So you ever said something to someone and they're nodding, but you're going, no, you don't understand. Tell me what I think, or tell me what you think I meant by that instruction. Okay? And that's what we're talking about. That encourages that two-way communication. That actually builds relationships. Okay? It builds trust, it builds rapport, it builds respect, and that's critical. Listen, and it says there, listen empathically. I'm really glad that you guys had empathy up here. It is so important. In fact, it's been found in emotional intelligence studies globally to be one of the 6 absolutely non-negotiable leadership competencies. Okay? Now, I've worked with coaches that have got plenty of empathy, and I've seen others that don't. So empathy is that capacity to feel. Okay? It can be as simple as knowing what it feels like for your athlete to do a really tough session. Okay? Remembering what that was like yourself. Big one, number 7. Yeah, control your emotions. This is another one of the top 6 leadership competencies. It's called emotional self-control. And the last few, be engaging in personal silence can be effective in communication. Okay? And that last one, as I said, know that you are always communicating.